Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Matt, DluxFab, DluxFab.com. Today, SCX24 deadbolt. So we're going to do a whole kind of build series on this truck, build it up from what it is into this truck's going to be a C1, I reckon, class 1. So y'all seen these before. I'm going to put before this in the video some footage of me driving it in Alabama. The performance on this truck is severely lacking. It's a pretty cool looking truck. I mean, it looks neat. It's a cool deal. I like it. Got your body clips up front. I like the hinge body where you can get to the battery. As you guys can see, this thing is box stock. I haven't changed anything on it. So what we're going to do, we're going to make this better, but we're going to do it in steps. First thing we're going to do, I just weighed the truck. It weighs 8.0 ounces on my scale. That might be different from your scale. But first thing we're going to do is break out the trusty Dremel and clippers and put this thing on Weight Watchers, so to speak. We're going to take all the weight out of it I can. Anything I deem unnecessary, we're going to remove. And see how much weight we can save on it, because it is very top heavy. And I'm going to add brass knuckles and all that eventually. We'll get to that. But first thing we're going to do is just remove whatever weight we deem unnecessary. So follow along, and here we go. So I've removed the body. I think the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to hack this up here. While that looks cool, that's just a bunch of extra plastic up top. Doesn't need to be there. So I'm going to take my crusty, trusty Dremel, chop all this up, and clean it up somewhat. All right, hold on. So now I've chopped all those lights off and the extra bar. That looks better in my opinion. X-Acto knife, we're going to clean that up a little bit. I'm going to try to get a weight in grams of all I can cut off this thing that's not necessary. This ain't quite going to be, super pretty, but it will be functional. Yeah, not bad. Far from good, but not bad at all. I can sand that down a little more and make it pretty. I don't think these little grab handles are necessary. So, like I said, we're just going to take off anything we can that's going to, hinder performance, in my opinion. That cut a little deeper than I anticipated. Just trying to nip those off. Some of y'all cringing watching me do this. Sorry if it offends your sensibilities. If y'all have driven these box stock, you know how bad they are. They don't drive good. So anything I can do to remove weight off the top is going to be good. So I got a little deep with that cut there. No biggie. So that's ain't a lot, but every little bit helps. Now, like I said, I'm gonna clean that up more. Now we're gonna move to this. I don't need these. These lights are cool, but I'm gonna try to get these out of the bumper without wrecking that, because I think they're cool. But like I said, we're trying to save weight on this pile. So let's see if I can get that off. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me struggle with it. Hold one, and I'll show you what I did. Now, looking at these closely, this bumper, hopefully I got that in focus where you guys can see it. It looks like, use my handy dandy tech driver. Sorry. Looks like I can just pop these little clips here and pull these LEDs out. Probably can't see it at the same time because my mitts are in the way. But that was easy. Yeah, that worked out. Just cut this little clip with my fingernail. Give that a little bit of yoink. I don't want to break the clips in case I want to put it back on. That's like loose, but there it is. So sweet. Not a lot of weight, but a little bit, and it's pretty high. So we'll set that in our weigh pile. We're going to weigh in a bit. All right, now I think I'm going to take this Velcro strap off. Pull it all out. I'll probably have a hell of a time getting that back in because giant hands. I'm even going to take, I think I'm going to thin this out too. I'm going to take some scissors and make that thinner. It doesn't need to be that large, I don't think. Another thing we're going to do, just because I said these are free mods, anything I can do to take weight out of it, I'm going to trim some of the webbing out of this. I'm just going to use the X-Acto knife. We're going to take some of the webbing out of this part. Now, is that going to make much difference? Probably not a lot, but you know, with a truck this small, the thing only weighs 8 ounces, like complete, with the factory battery, which little 2-cell. I have some 3-cells that are good smaller than this, but I don't think that these electronics will deal well with 3-cell. I'm going to have to look that up, but they might, because I got some little 250 or 180 milliamp 3-cells that would save some weight, and I could put it in a much better location, but until I upgrade these electronics, I probably can't do that yet. So, hold on. I'm going to take some weight out of this thing, and we'll get back. Now, as you guys can see, I've gutted out this battery mount, taken out what I deem as, you know, all the unnecessary weight I can. So the first step in my mind, if you get a rig and you want to make it perform better, is take off any unnecessary weight, especially up high. So I think the next step, I think I'm going to pull this off here, and see if I can take some of the weight out of this. Some of this might, you guys are like, oh, you're being excessive, Matt. Yeah, maybe I am, because a lot of this, I got a whole nother chassis, the whole bit, right, waiting on it. But if we can make this perform somewhat okay, that would be cool. So I think the next step is I'm going to try to take some weight out of this rear mount here. So I'm going to pull that off, and then I'm going to hack it up, and I'll show you what I get. Hold on. So far, when we started, we were 8 ounces. That's 224 grams. And so far, we've cut about 1 gram off the top of this truck. Now, that's RTR. That's with the screws, with the battery and body and all that stuff. We'll probably end up trimming the body for long. So the next step I'm going to do, if you notice, with this body on, slide her back home. See how far this, well, you can't see right there. See how far that bumper sticks out? We're going to see how much we can suck that in via the mounts on the bottom. It looks like you can adjust it right here. See how far we can get that pulled in. Because that sticks out way far, and it hangs up on everything. Oh, look, we got these little nubs. We're going to take those off too. So, once again, hold on a minute. We'll show you what we got going. Now, just with that adjustment, we pulled that bumper in a lot better. Still sticking out a little far, but it's not bad. I'm going to go ahead and take these little nubs here off. They don't need to be there, in my opinion. They're just going to hang up on stuff. We may trim this bumper down more, but not right now. I think I should be able to just take the body out of the way. I think I should take the X-Acto, and I should be able to just nip that right off. Yeah. Mint. You don't need those. Oh, it's not scale. No one's towing these things. We're trying to make a performance truck here, not a scale truck. So I'll clean that up a little bit with the Dremel. We'll be right back. So I'm not seeing a whole lot of more excess fat. I could really just trim off this thing. I think the next free mod we're going to do, I'm going to take these tires off. And while they feel soft, for the weight of the truck, they're not. And we're going to replace these tires anyways. So I think I'm going to take these tires off. I'm going to go outside, I'm going to sand these sidewalls down, and see if we can get a little more squish out of these sidewalls. There's no foams, these are just air filled. But I'm gonna see if I can get a little more squish, a little more grip out of that tire just by sanding us some meat off the sidewall. So, well, wish me luck. I'll come back in a minute and we'll show you what we did. Alright guys, I went outside, shaved these tires down, try to make these a little softer. Now they are noticeably a little squishier, which is kind of what I was after. But what I didn't realize is when I weighed these two, now my scale is not really that accurate, but you could see on my scale, this one weighed 11 grams and this one weighed 10. So we're able to take a gram off of one wheel and tire combo just by shaving the sidewall. That's pretty cool. Alright, well, and I was debating whether to do all four, but I think I'm just going to do the fronts for now. Nah, we'll go ahead and do all four. Yeah, why halfway? Let's do all four. Alright, we'll see you in a minute. Soften the sidewalls up and take some extra weight off. Some guys don't like this mod, some guys do. A lot of the OG comp guys, we've been doing this stuff for years. The side lugs can hang you up and throw you off your line, especially if you're in a V-notch and trying to work that out. Having those side lugs can hurt or help. I've found over time, I'd rather not have them. That's just my personal preference. Now, if you guys can look back in our videos, you'll see that I did this with a 60 grit flap wheel on a 4.5 inch angle grinder. I just did these the same way. Nothing special. Just took my time. More or less just polished them up, thinned them out some. I could go more, but I'm not sure I want to, because the next step after we go outside to my little course I built, a little 24 scale course, we're going to test the free mods, the little bit of weight we took off, see if I can tell a difference in the way it drives. If I can tell a difference, I'll show you guys. If I feel like that wasn't enough of a difference to be worth showing, well, then it's not worth showing. So the next thing I'm going to do, I think, I'm going to go look through my I got some O-rings somewhere, or maybe I'll use a zip tie. I'm going to try to put a little bit, I use my, oh, here's my handy dandy tech driver. I think I might put a zip tie around this shock right here, just for some preload. I don't have any preload spacers. Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh, that's fuzzy. But I want to add a little preload to this rear end, just to try to keep it from flopping over so much. The rear's soft. I need to load the front more. If I can just put a zip tie around that, add some preload, we're going to try that next. So, zoom back out. So yeah, we're going to add a little preload, I think, with a zip tie. I got some zip ties here. I think that'll work. I'm just going to use that like a preload spacer, because I said these are free mods. I mean, that's the whole point of this little video, is the free mods. What can we do to make this better for $0 with just a little bit of effort? So I'm going to add them zip ties on the rear. I'm going to use those for preload spacers. And we're going to put the body back on. And then I'm going to take it outside and we're going to test it. Top the shock cap there. I'm going to order some springs, or find some springs to tune these little ones. I'm sure someone makes them. I'm kind of new to the micro world, so we're working that out as we go. But I think that'll help, because it likes to the rear likes to squat out and lift the front and not climb very good. So, all right, out to the test rocks. Pull these two screws here out. I'm gonna pull this rear mount here off, and then I'll show you what we do to mod it. Hold tight. So I'll show you guys what I did. I just more or less flipped this mount, this rear mount. It goes here. Get that in frame. It goes here. So this mount goes like this. And before you start hacking it up trying to save weight like me, this part bolts on the top. So what I did was I took my cutoff wheel on my Dremel and I just cut back in line with these little tabs. Of course, I unscrewed these first. So I just cut that, I notched this out, and I flipped this over and put it here, which that's going to lower that body, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so, just from like sitting here to sitting there. Now you're going to lose your hinge part because it doesn't want to turn backwards, but I'm not super concerned about that. So, yeah, more or less. So it kind of goes like that. So you notch these bottom parts. Oh, sorry. When you get it, it goes like so. See, that bolts are on top, as you can see. Now, since I notched that out with a Dremel there, my cutoff wheel, slotted that. Now you can roll that. It's a little tight. I got to trim that with this blade here. It's catching up. I'm going to give it the axial on this. This seems to be glass reinforced plastic. When I cut it, I can feel a little grindy, little chunkiness. Like there's some fibers in it, making it stronger. Nope. Now we remount that like that flipped. And that's going to lower that body down as much as it'll go. Now, I also pulled these screws out here and drop this down one hole as far as it'll go. So it'll all fit together now, just like it was. Put your screws back in it here. Tighten these down because you got to loosen these to be able to get this out. Just let the frame split a little bit and lower these. So see if I can just kind of yam this on there. Enough for y'all to see. All right, zoom out here. Boom. Give me a second, I'll bolt this back on and I'll show you the difference. It's about, you know, a good 1/8 of an inch or so lower. But if you can see the size of these hands and these little tiny screws, it's a struggle for me to handle these just because my fingers are so big. So let me put this back together and I'll show you the end product with the rear body mount flip. Now there you go, y'all. See, it's about 1/8 of an inch lower. I think that looks way better. Now, that's about as low as you're going to get it because the wires coming out of the OEM speed control receiver combo are tucked right against this hood scoop. So that's about as low as you're going to get that rig out of the box. So that's a sweet free mod. Took about, 10 minutes and lowered the body about 1/8 of an inch. I think that's pretty sweet. Now, I'm thinking about hacking this part of the cage off. I don't think it really needs it in the profile. And I think that would honestly be more of a hindrance if the truck is flipping and flopping, trying to, work out a line. So, I don't know, I may hack that out, I might not. So, alright guys, well that's pretty much going to wrap up the free mods for the SCX24 deadbolt. It's a pretty fun little truck. I like it. To be perfectly honest, ignore my messy bench. But to be perfectly honest, it's super cool out of the box, but the performance is pretty lacking. I mean, and that might just be my perception, because I'm used to driving more or less sorted crawlers. But coming up soon, we got there's your flex shot. Ain't that sweet? See, it barely touches right there. Not enough to even matter. I could trim that out if I wanted, but we'll get there. On the front, now with that lowered all the way, as far as we can get it, as you can see, that Dlux, I didn't trim the body at all. That tucks right down against the bumper. Looks like it the way it should have been from the factory. I think that's pretty sweet. So alright fellas, well that'll show up. That's our free mods for the truck. I'm going to attach after this or before this, I'm going to show some footage of me driving this thing in Alabama at ECC. And that way you can kind of check it out and see the performance there before we really tear into it and start putting some money, time, and effort into it. So, alright guys, thanks. Have a good day. See ya.